Good morning, brothers and sisters. It's a chilly morning on January 25th. We are in our new Morning Mercies book, and today's title reads, Theology without love is simply very bad theology. And the author goes into a story where he was once a professor at a seminary college, and he taught a course on pastoral care and counseling, and how so many of the students dreaded it because they just wanted to get classes and courses on theology. And he mentions how many of them think that if they just preach a sound sermon, then that is all the congregation needs. So just as the author reminds his student pastors and preachers and ministers that they are not only to preach a sermon to their congregations, but they need to love on their congregations also. And we as believers, we of course need to have knowledge of God. Joshua tells us that we are to meditate on his word day and night. Psalm 1 tells us that our delight is in the law of the Lord, and we are to meditate on it day and night. But we also need to remember the great commandment, which is to love the Lord our God with all our heart, soul, and mind, and to love our neighbors as ourselves. So we often hear in church how some people gain knowledge of God, and they keep it in their minds. It never makes that long journey 18 inches from their hearts to their minds to their hearts. I love how John Piper words it. He says that the mind must hand off its thoughts to the emotions for them to be truly embraced, or else the love remains merely intellectual. So the author reminds us that we need to speak in love in a community type environment, but we also need to remember to speak the truth. And this devotional today reminded me of the book of James, where he's telling us to be doers of the word, not only hearers. And then also in chapter 2 of James, where it reads, if a brother or sister is naked and destitute of daily food, and one of you says to them, depart in peace, be warmed and filled, but you do not give them the things which are needed for the body, what is the profit? What good does that do to just tell them? So we have to be doers and hearers, not just hearers. I'm going to end with the author's words here, where he says, finally, we must understand that theology is never an end in itself, but a means to an end, the end that we would progressively become like the one who is the ultimate definition of what love is and what love does. And that, of course, is talking about Jesus. In his grace, he provides everything we need to be a loving community and theologically pure at the same time. To forsake either is not only a failure to love, but bad theology as well. It both compromises God's truth and rejects his call. It is in a community of humble love that we are best positioned to understand all that God has said to us in his word. Amen. God bless.